We're here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park for the inaugural ChumpCar Canada race. Our little Suzuki Swift here. This used to be a rally car that we've basically turned into a chump car, and what that means is it's basically meant to be like a $500 crap can that you can do a certain amount of mods to based on their point system. We're in Class A, which is for cars at 1.9 liters or below. So it's the slowest class here, but we're having just as much fun as anybody else. The car was pretty scary in testing on Friday, but we got it sorted. And then the clutch disc exploded on us. So that turned into a tranny removal and a clutch disc replacement, but we've got lots of spare parts here because the Stittles are Swift fanatics. They got a whole collection of cars and parts. So we're prepping for the start of the 7-hour race on Saturday. Then we've got another 7-hour race on Sunday. So let's see how we do.
Suiting up for the first race, I really wasn't sure how our little Swift GT was going to drive after Kevin had just pulled a heroic all-nighter to swap in a fresh clutch. Plus it had this really unnerving tendency to swerve to the left on the straights, particularly when upshifting. But hey, this is crap can racing, so you can't expect perfection. ChumpCar grids on a first come, first served basis, and starting from the back of the pack seemed like a mature choice for a 7-hour race in an 1,800-pound car that needs a few laps to heat up the tires and brakes. And the car felt great in the first couple of corners, so I went ahead and drove around a few of my fellow back markers on the first lap. Keep in mind, ChumpCar doesn't require a formal racing license, so we were sharing the track with some complete novices, including Kevin Stittle and Ken Wagon on our team, who'd never raced door-to-door before and had never been to this very intimidating track before either. My other teammates, Andrew Stittle and Peter, both had some ChumpCar experience but had never raced at Mosport before. Within a few laps, I was really building some confidence in our little Swift, which had fantastic grip in the corners thanks to its low mass and a fresh set of Falcon Azenas RT 615Ks. The tires really impressed all of us with their durability and consistency. Push them a little too hard and they would start to feel a bit greasy, but back off just a hair and then come right back up to full grip level. The back straight at Mosport is a long uphill run, and the 1.3 liter engine in our Swift had just enough jam, around 100 horsepower and 85 pound-feet of torque, to pass a couple of the slowest cars in the field. But we definitely weren't going to win too many drag races around here. I was also impressed by how clean the racing was during my 90-minute stint to start the race. This yellow flag in turn 2 got a little exciting, but again, everyone kept their wits about them. really good battle with this Ford Contour, who I'd passed a few times going to the Moss corner hairpin, only to have it blow by me going up the back straight. That's when things went a bit pear-shaped when I got inside of him into turn 1, only to have an aggressive Civic jump inside both of us to make the pass. This threw us out of sync and, well, Rubbin's racing, right? Peter jumped in the car after me and had a trouble-free 90-minute session. Then Andrew went out but came coasting into pit lane about halfway through his stint with a dead battery. Kevin swapped the alternator in record time, but the battery still wasn't charging. Turns out a wire we thought simply ran to the voltmeter also excites the alternator. So once we fixed that connection, we were back in business. Now it was Ken's turn behind the wheel, and as you can see here, he took the wide line through turn 2. But after that, he really settled into a nice groove and posted some very competitive lap times and brought the car back in one piece. A rock solid performance for his first ever door-to-door race experience. Andrew was back in the car when we took the checkered flag for race 1. Prior to the alternator problem, we ran as high as 2nd in class and 10th overall. But with the time we lost on the repair, we ended up 29th out of 40 cars and 6th out of 8 cars in our class. With the car up on jack stands for the night, we gave it a good once-over. We replaced a wobbly wheel bearing, plus we replaced a bad sway bar end link, changed the transmission fluid, and wired up this ghetto fabulous fix for the alternator. We also rotated the tires, and as you can see, the Falcons are looking awfully fresh considering the beating they'd just taken. We reversed the driver's order for Sunday, so that meant Andrew was up first. And as you can see, man, does this guy ever love to rip. Using the outside line to very good effect, A-Stitz made a ton of progress on the opening lap alone. Now I'm just gonna shut up for a while so you can watch this madman do his thing. Kevin finally got to do some driving Sunday, and here's one of his more exciting moments as seen from the cockpit of John Mauro's K24 swapped CRX. A close call with the outside tire barrier, but Kevin gathered himself and ticked off some really fast, consistent laps at the end of his run. Time for fuel and a driver's change. Ken now getting a second taste of ChumpCar action. It didn't last long though. About a half hour in, he was ripping down turn 2 when this happened. Ken showed a lot of maturity getting off the track immediately, killing the engine and not setting off the fire suppression system too soon. He was rewarded for his smarts with this soothing tow back to pit lane. Back in the paddock, it didn't take long for us to discover the inspection hole in the block. Rod number 2 was starved for oil and decided it was time for a break, and so our first ChumpCar experience was officially over.
Well, that's it. Our racing has come to a surprise ending. Maybe not that surprising. These are all $500 cars in theory. But we loved the car. It was a ton of fun to drive. We're excited to make some fixes to it, put a non-ventilated engine in there, and we'll have fun at the next one.